Okay, our next speaker, Professor Yo, I have introduced him earlier, and so without further ado, please, Professor Yu, this is your time.
Venerable Mahasangha and all the Dharma brothers and sisters in the Dharma, I'm so honored to be here today to talk to you about the subject. I think this is a very essential issue that in these days, that how to develop the business in a Buddhist way. So I think I focus on three main points. The number one is how can we protect and support the Dharma in a Dharmic way? Don't go the wrong way. And the second one is how can we create the strong financial support to support the Dharma activities? And the third one is, now so many phenomena shows that maybe some people, some Buddhist organizations, they are using the name of the Dharma and then to collect fund for personal interest. So this is something that I'm really concerned. And today that I choose the topic, I focus on two main subjects. Number one is about the GNH and the social enterprise. But I have been teaching and studying on the Nagarjuna philosophy for more than 50 years. And according to Nagarjuna's philosophy, that it is so essential that you have to practice the 6 paramitas to approach, to achieve the Buddhahood. And then whenever I talk about the Dana Paramita, many people think, okay, so-called Dana Paramita, the main practice is just to give the money, to make the offering, something like that, material. But I think that's not enough. The best way, because there will be two kinds of practice of the Dana Paramita. One is just to give. You give, and whoever needs the support or help. But I think that there's another way that I have seen so many business people. They may be not very rich, it's just like Andy said, the Nobel guys. But you had a strong commitment, strong devotion. You want to do something very good for the Dharma. So I found that if a good businessman had a very good devotion, for example, he managed the business, and he tried to help the people, to help all the staffs, the workers under his, business, and give them a good life, give them a good support for family, for their children to study in a better conditions. And that is something very meaningful. So that's why I shift my interpretation about the Dana Paramita, that not only to give, but that is limited practice of the Dana Paramita. I would much prefer that if we can, we can do so-called constructive Dana Paramita. So-called constructive Dana Paramita, I just like to take the example of Andy. But I don't know what happened to me that I'm so attracted by him because of his great devotion to the Dharma. I met him, I came to Los Angeles 2 years ago. I met him, and every time that he talked, always with tears. And that the tea is so powerful. I don't know. So that's why, before I go to Seoul, to Korea to attend the general conference that organized by our good friends, Professor Kim and Professor, our dear friend, Mr. Yang. And I found that this is a good example, but they put the special forum on the social welfare, and they asked me to present a paper. And then I said, the so-called small potato project is a good example. Because we cannot expect, that to do the Dharma just like the Tzu Chi Foundation or some other big organization who can do many things. But the small potato is a good project that inspiring many people. Although you have only limited fund or limited resource, but you still want to help the homeless. So something like that, I'm very much moved. Yeah. So then I invited, Andy to go to Seoul. So he didn't know what happened there, but just by the friendship that we can go with Peter and Alice. So we were there. And then I talked to the organization. But in the WFP, there are many different standing committees. And I think Andy has such strong devotion to the Dharma to help the poor people. So then I proposed to the chairperson, who is Japanese, Hibino-san. I said, would you like to have a co-chair? And my friend from Los Angeles, Andy Gao, is such a wonderful person. And would you like to invite him to co-chair with you? And I was get answer that, I'm terrible, so we won't, but we already have the co-chair from Sri Lanka. And then suddenly that the Secretary General, Mr. Parok, talked to me. We need a new chairperson for Social Economic Development Committee. I said, okay, we have the right person to be the candidate. So I proposed Andy Gao within 2 seconds. And that's why he didn't know what happened. He just elected, but people accepted and appreciate. And then he stand on the stage with tears and say he want to do something for the baby. So that's why he was elected while he was sleeping. That's the history. But anyway, I'm happy that today that he really, let his devotion and his commitment coming through by hosting this forum with many friends. And the reason why I took this example is because I think this time I came here because there are new project created by Andy. It's so-called Buddhist Alibaba. Are you going to present sometime? Tomorrow, okay. That is very important. The small potato project is to help the homeless. And that is something, to me, is limited practice of Dharma. But for the Buddhist Alibaba project, I think more provision, more forcing and more broaden, that you can help more people. And just like you said, the Buddhists help Buddhists. And that's very important. Especially that, last year I had the great opportunity to meet the Venerable Dhammapiya in India when we approaching the place where Lord Buddha gave the many Maya teachings at the Vajra Peak. And then that's the first time that I have the chance to listen to Bhante Dhammapiya, that he gave a speech and mentioned 2 points. The number 1 point is that if we want to do something good for the revival movement of Buddhism in India, to make Dharma go back his homeland, number 1 is how to empower and upgrade the education of the Sangha. And that's the first time that I have been spend many energy and to support, to go with the friends in India, that how to help Buddhism revive in India. And the first time I see, my goodness, that how to upgrade the education conditions for the Sangha. And the second point he mentioned is no. But among the India, there are so many Buddhist communities. But most of Buddhists in India, they are in the very poor provinces. So Bhante emphasized that we have to try our best to empowering the poor communities in different provinces. So then later when I come back, I talked to Andy. I said, that is something that you can do. You have to work with Bhante and to help them. But so many people, they are so poor. Many Buddhists, very, very poor. So this time that is when I talked to Bhante that Andy Gao has a very good project. So he decided to come. On your behalf, I invited him, and he is here now. So this is something that this time that for this forum, I want to express my very sincere vision that we have not only to do the limited Dharma paramita, but we have to do more, in the more constructive way of the Dharma paramita. And that is my answer is number one is GNH. And then number two is social enterprise. And we can combine these two together. So we are happy that we are our friend, Sister Tashi Rambo. Sister, are you here? Tashi? Yes. So the reason why that, I talked to Peter and we invited our sister from Bhutan is because the king of Bhutan is the first one created the idea of GNH. The king of Bhutan studied in Oxford, England. And he didn't want to be the king. But unexpectedly, his father passed away. And he was forced to come back to Bhutan to be the king. Like you. So, because the king of Bhutan, that I met him with our president, could you show the pictures that I have one picture here. Could you have? Oh yeah, this is the king of Bhutan. How do you spell his name? Jimmy Singye Wangcho, right? Yeah. So we had the honor to meet him. And that is in the year of 2000. That I had the honor, that from the left-hand side is Mr. Miyabara. And the second one is our president. How to say that? His Excellency, Mr. Pan Varamiti. And then the king of the Bhutan. And then Mr. Gulyong Han, who is a very senior vice president. And then our Korean sister from Wang Buddhism. And the Secretary General at that period, and myself. So this is a very great occasion for us, the first time WB has a chance to have an ESCO meeting in Bhutan. And so I had the chance to talk to the king for 20 minutes conversation about the GNH idea. So I wrote one article, and later I presented at the same year that I presented at the Dharma Mountain. And then in the year of 2007, a special conference held in Bangkok at the University of Chulalongkorn. So I was invited to chair the first panel session to talk about how can we develop the idea of GNH, the gross national happiness, instead of GDP, to develop the future economic development. And because of that conference, 4 major categories was established to indicate how a country can follow up the idea of GNH. And that was very successful. So because of that, then next year, a special school called School for Well-Being was established at the University of Chulalongkorn in Bangkok. And now School for Well-Being now developed very well. So I hope in the near future that we will be able to have the chance to establish connections, the network between each other, especially with your standing committee. But this is very promising. Yeah. So this is my first idea that I want to introduce to our forum about the GNH idea. This is very important. And actually, if you notice, that you will see that the chair of the China government, Xi Jinping, last year he emphasized that we must indicate the national development, not in the standard of GDP, but we must develop something new. So this is something I think very meaningful. And then about the social enterprise, I want to develop the idea that how to make a good use of the middle way model of social enterprise to carry out constructive Dharma paramita, the perfection of giving. You know, because one time that I conduct with my wife Grace the dynamic tea meditation, I thought that it should be ended by 2 o'clock, but actually it lasted until 1:50. So I get a punishment that I had to reduce my talk for 10 minutes. Anyway, despite matter, I think we have more chance during these 2 days that we can talk more, especially our sister from Bhutan is here. So I really want that everyone to get more idea. And about the social enterprise, you can see that a lot of materials are available on the internet. So I really thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to share with you. Thank you very much.